Hey everybody, it is Jason from Jason Bogots Photography, and today I am going to give you a quick rundown of the basic editing functions in Adobe Lightroom. Starting over here on the right side of the screen, you're going to have your exposure information, which is your ISO, your focal length, your f-stop, and your shutter speed. Oops. Moving down, you're going to have a crop overlay, your spot removal, your red eye correction, graduated filter, radial filter, and your adjustment brushes, which if you click on this and go into this, these are all the different adjustment brushes that you'll have. Some of these are added on with some plugins that I have. And you'll have temperature, tint, exposure, contrast, highlights. Pretty much all your basic editing functions are going to be up here that you can use as an adjustment brush, but that is going to be something for another time altogether. And then moving down from that, you're going to have your white balance selector, and which is the eyedropper tool. And then you have your custom white balance here that you can select as shot, auto, daylight, cloudy, shade, tungsten, fluorescent, flash, and custom. I know a couple of you know that I'm going to be doing a white balance video in the next couple of weeks, so that's going to be something that I'll get into at that time in a little bit more detail, but just to let you know that it's here, and if it's something that you wanted to play around with, you certainly could. Just kind of give you an idea of what they do. I'll just bring this back to as shot and then move down. So you have the first slider here is the temperature, which if you don't know, moving to the right increases the color temperature into the warm range, which basically is you're highlighting or accentuating the oranges, reds, yellows, things like that. As you can tell just from looking at the image, that all of those kind of colors that you would associate with being warm are accentuated. And then if you go to the left, you're actually bringing it down to you're highlighting the blues and shifting the color balance to the cooler side, which as you can tell, it gives a nice, not nice, but a blue color cast. So maybe if you were trying to do like something that looked like Twilight or something like that, you could do that. And then anyway, going down from there, you're going to go to tint, and then going to the right, tints everything more magenta. Going to the left, tints it more green, which would be useful if you're going for like a matrix type look or something like that. Then right below that, you have your tone. If you click here on exposure, you can actually, it'll auto correct for any exposure issues that you have. I'm going to bypass that for now. Exposure going to the right obviously brightens your image. You have 5 stops of correction, and going to the left is 5 stops of correction the other way, so you can either go up or down with it. Hopefully in camera you're getting as close to correct as possible. Then moving down to the contrast, you go up, and you can see what happens there. If you bring it down, it basically flattens out the image. And as you might be able to tell, this is one thing that you can do if you're working in harsh light. I'll go ahead and put that back to normal. If you watch on his face, when I bring the contrast down, it actually evens out the skin tone. So if you're working in harsh light, that is something that you can do just to help even the lighting out a little bit. Here you've got the highlights, which if you watch over here, like around here on his face and up in the sky and across this part of his suit, when I bring this up, you'll see those get brighter. When I bring it down, you're actually just evening the tonality out. Going into shadows, watch on his face here on this side, and it's gonna even out the other way. One thing that with bringing up the shadows like this, you will introduce extra noise into the image, so you don't want to play around with that too much. Then going down, I'm going to darken the shadows. So going up brightens them, going down darkens them. Whites, you're going to notice it up in the sky. Going up brightens the whites, going down flattens them out. The blacks, if you bring this up, you'll see you brighten the blacks, bring them down, you darken the blacks. You move down here to presence. The first one here is clarity, which is for all intents and purposes contrast in the midtones. So if I bring it up, you're going to get kind of a gritty, dirty look, which is something that I actually use for horror images, just because I like that it dirties it up a little bit. And then if you bring that all the way down, you're, for all intents and purposes, taking out detail, like in here, so you kind of get more of a beauty effect. Moving on to vibrant, bring that up, and you can see that all the colors become far more vibrant. Bringing it down, it doesn't turn the image black and white. As you can see, you've still got the blues, and the skin tone is still there, the reds, so it doesn't actually desaturate it. It just becomes less vibrant. And then here with the saturation, pushing that up, everything becomes far more saturated, and bringing it down to the left, and you remove all color from the image. So that's a quick look at the basic editing functions here within the basic tab, within the basic module in Adobe Lightroom. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. Leave them below. If you have any comments, let me know. Thanks.